Hey everyone, before we begin today's video, do check out the campaign to get your very own plush version of Raj, our mascot of the channel. Do check out the link below in the pinned comment for more information. Thank you!
Saiyans, space Romans, freaky future fish people, lend me your whatever you use for ears.
Hey guys, MasakoX here. You know the drill here. This channel is all about the positive vibes, and that extends all the way to the content, and the idea of what-ifs where characters who didn't turn good, do turn good. It's become one of the hallmarks of the channel in all honesty, but not this time. This time around, we are going around with the idea about a character who did turn good, not doing so. In some ways, yes, you could argue he has never truly become a good guy, but has at least chosen to side with the heroes due to it being convenient, or at least coming to terms in general that life on this side of the fence isn't so bad. However, what might happen if today's subject, Vegeta obviously, never got the chance, nor never needed, to turn good? Vegeta. He is the best example on the show of the anti-hero model of character development. He is a guy who is very much not subscribing to the typical notion of a hero set by Goku and the Dragon Team. That being said though, he has become, without a moment of doubt, the defender of Earth, and has really realised that he likes being around his family and this planet he has now chosen to call home. He has taken on this job without any sort of upset really, and despite some moments where he lapsed during the Buu saga, he did come around. But all of that stemmed from necessity during the Namek saga to stop Frieza. Today, he didn't need to do that, and he got his wish for immortality granted. And as for the Earthlings, he didn't need them, as we see today. Now that he has an empire and keen to find new people, his battalion needs some kind of stimulus in order to psych themselves up to bolster their ranks in the upcoming future. I think a few good self-help books would be useful, as provided by the likes of Audible. And I did check, Space Audible doesn't exist. Yet. But Earth Audible has countless examples of guides, novels, non-fiction, and basically anything you can think of. It's most likely covered within their catalogue. You might have realised recently that I'm quite a keen sim racer, as well as a bit of a motorsport fan, and that has been satisfied still by Mark Webber's autobiography, Aussie Grit. It's a very personal account which truly captures his tenacity and rise to the top of motorsport. It was a revelation for me, and if you want to find your own revelation, you can go to audible.com/MasakoX or text MasakoX to 500 500 and you can get yourself a 30-day free trial plus an entirely free audiobook and 2 Audible originals at no extra cost. And that free audiobook, that's not limited to a particular choice of books, it's whatever you want. Use this service on your mobile devices, meaning that you're free to learn, laugh, and listen wherever you are. And the warriors of Vegetas have no excuse in slacking off. Thanks for listening. Out in deep space, on a newly minted planet Vegeta, the new king of the Saiyan Empire rests atop of his throne, awaiting his summons from Saiyans across the galaxy. If indeed there are any left. He didn't expect there to be any in reality. It had been a couple of decades since the destruction of his original homeworld, and to be honest, if there were any of his kind off-world remaining, they would have either probably succumbed to Frieza forces picking them off one by one over the years, or they blended so much into their respective societies that they lived in that they would have forgotten their legacy. What it meant to be a Saiyan, they would have gotten soft. In any case, he did have some kind of army to order picked up from various planets within the galaxy, and so far, his word had been received more willingly than what Frieza said, the former Empire. All that Vegeta requested from these worlds were their strongest fighters, nothing more. You might recognise this trope from our what if Frieza saw Vegeta's potential. Well, I thought that would apply here as well, since Vegeta is not here to become a Frieza replacement. He just wants to have his own empire to rule over, and ensure that nothing kicks off on his watch. Like, he's sort of the galactic security force. Oh, Jarka's gonna have a field day with this one. If anything is going to go down in this galaxy, he will be the one to initiate it or halt it.
My king, we have picked up some kind of distress signal. It's pretty ancient, but it seems to correspond to a Saiyan craft.
This perks the king's interest. So far, the Saiyans that had arrived, this was more than he expected, but disappointed by the fact that they were pretty low-level dregs of society. The only ones of his kind that had managed to somehow survive the last few decades were either too old, too weak, or in some cases, hybrids, like that Gohan kid. Their power was uncertain at the moment, but Vegeta wasn't really relying on them at the moment for their purity.
What sort of craft is it? Hard to say, my liege. All we know is that it is on a planet on the far edge of the galaxy. It's a place called Vampa, my liege.
All he could remember of that planet was that it was a place not fit for purpose for the Frieza Empire due to the fact it was just so desolate upon discovery. Why would anyone willingly land there? And more importantly, would they still be alive? Either way, it was a distraction.
Very well. Prepare a transport ship. I wish to see these Saiyans up close and personal if they're still alive. My liege, Vampa is too dangerous for you to go. Allow us to go in your place.
The king gets up from his throne and walks to the grunt and scoffs.
You forget, nothing is too dangerous for me nowadays. I relish the peril.
He was pretty accurate about that. Since gaining immortality, the malaise that Frieza described in Super and the movie while he was in his own personal hell is starting to trickle into Vegeta's mind. He's bored. Not having any challenges to his life, not having the thrill of a good fight, was actually starting to get to him. It was getting him down. Perhaps these Saiyans, or whatever's left, if they're still alive, were hardy souls that could cope with Vampa's hostile environment, from what he could recall. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the Dragon team have been busy. There is also no future Trunks. What we do get, though, is future Gohan, but this time around, he is not expecting Frieza or anything like that. The gang sense his power arrive on the planet, and they then come out there to where he landed to investigate. This time around, the future man is trying to keep his cool, despite being in front of his father for the first time in what seems like forever. However, the welcome isn't as warm as he expected. Goku walks up to him and has not an ounce of warmth towards him. What brings you here? Are you part of Vegeta's empire? Checking in on us to see if we're behaving? Gohan is confused. What's he talking about? Oh, right, Vegeta's thing. It completely slipped his mind. Now you see, since Vegeta basically left Earth alone to its own devices, that prince had basically completely become background noise to them in comparison to the androids. You know, that particular menace the planet had to deal with? Vegeta didn't come to help or anything like that. I mean, there were attempts to try and contact him for assistance from Bulma, but none of them were actually heeded or read. No acknowledgement whatsoever. They were on their own, and so they forgot about him. What's the point of remembering someone that doesn't want to be remembered? After all this, Goku then realizes something. Wait, we've been training to stop Vegeta. These androids you speak of? Surely we would be strong to take them on, right? Gohan nods and says that is true, if Goku had still been alive. King Kai suggested going to a planet called Yardrat or something to focus his energy and get stronger in order to stop Vegeta's rise to power. King Kai didn't like the thought of the former prince ruling the galaxy himself. True, he wasn't as bad as Frieza or anything like that, but he had had enough of seeing nefarious people ruling over other people. It was time for consistent and widespread peace to be had in North Galaxy. As a result, Goku was guided by King Kai to Yardrat, learned spirit control, and of course instant transmission, but then contracted that heart illness and promptly succumbed to it. You're kidding me! After all this power I got, it all meant nothing? Gohan sadly nods and says that it was unfortunate, but there is a cure now, and if he takes it, he might survive, so there is no reason stopping him from still going to Yardrat, still getting those powers and all, so long as he just remembers to take the medicine, regardless whether it's great flavor or not. Oh, one last thing before I go. Have you transformed yet? Goku tilts his head. Transformed? You mean Kaioken? Gohan shakes his head and promptly gathers his strength, powering up, and shouts to the skies. In one blinding golden flash, his hair has turned golden and his eyes a shade of teal. He is a Super Saiyan. This blindsides everyone who had kept their distance. They could taste that. This is a Super Saiyan. I happened upon this power in the fight against the androids. Seeing all my friends and families falling down one by one in front of them, it was too much to bear. And then one day, during training, I just thought about them and I exploded. And this happened. It helped against the androids, though. I mean, it meant at least I could protect some people from them. Destroy them, though? No. Buy some time? Yeah. If you wish to stand any chance against the androids here, then this is something that you need to learn Goku. You might want to teach this to your son. You did have a son, right? Goku nods and tilts his head back to the younger Gohan, standing in the crowd. Good. He'll pick it up in no time with your help. He then explains more to Goku about how Super Saiyan works, and is about to take his leave. Wait! Did Vegeta learn this too? I don't know, but if it helps your training or anything, sure, he did. With that, future Gohan departs for the future, and Goku is left more motivated than ever. A Super Saiyan. Wow! But first call, Yardrat. The ship finally descends on the yellow gaseous world of Vampa, and comes to a rest in a clearing. Vegeta steps off of it, and immediately is overwhelmed with the stench of the planet. Ugh! Perhaps Earth wasn't so bad upon reflection. Jeez. Vegeta concentrates his mind on trying to sense for any life forms on this world that possessed some modicum of intelligence. There were two powers here. Sure, one of them was slightly better than the average recruit that he'd recently received, but there was one that seemed very interesting. Inconsistent, all over the place, but sometimes, when he could think about it, it was pretty big. Sometimes it was very low though. It was certainly something to check out though. With a couple of guards to hand, he descends upon the powers, and sure enough, they were Saiyans. One is Paragus, and the other is Broly. Paragus, looking a little worse for wear, but still with his black hair, because unlike his movie interpretation, this was about 11 years or so before then, so he probably would still be younger and a little bit stronger, maybe in the 5,000 range. Paragus locks eyes on what he remembers as Prince Vegeta. He doesn't know what to say. He had been found. Rescue was assured, but why did it have to be the son of the man who had exiled him in the first place, as well as his son? For now though, let's just play along. At least for as long as it takes to get off the planet.
My prince, thank you for rescuing us. I am Paragus. I was a commander in your father's elite squadron.
Vegeta scans him up and down, and isn't all that impressed.
I see. However, it is King Vegeta now. Things have changed, Paragus. For a start, Frieza is no longer your ruler. I am.
Paragus is stunned. Frieza? Gone? Whilst this was good news, it was tempered with the realization that Vegeta had become the king. Great.
I sensed another power nearby. Who is that? That would be my son, your majesty. Broly, come here!
In a few seconds, a large young man bounded to his father's side, bound also by a silver collar.
This is Broly, your majesty. As you can see, he is quite the sprightly young lad.
The king scans this one as well, and is much more captivated with what he sees. Now in one place, he can sense that this power was much greater than any Saiyan that had been on planet Vegeta before it blew up. In fact, it was actually stronger in some ways than Kakarot. Progress had been made, finally.
It is your lucky day, you two. The Saiyan Empire has been rebuilt, and I need 2 Saiyans such as yourself to whip my army into shape. Your son here would make the perfect yardstick. Your Majesty, might I provide a word of warning? You see that collar around his neck? I am not here to take orders from you. If I want your son to lead my troops, then that is exactly what will happen. I know power when I see it, and he has that in spades. Now grab whatever you call belongings, and let's get out of here.
In not much time at all, Broly, Paragus, and Vegeta were making their way back to New Planet Vegeta, with the father of Broly looking very nervous, but also grateful to be soon having a shower for the first time in a couple of decades. Broly, meanwhile, was very confused with all this technology before him. It had been the first time he could recall being anywhere that wasn't tinted yellow. How weird. As that's going on, the words of future Gohan rang in Goku's mind. Yardrat. They had 3 years to get stronger, or else Earth would be consumed by a totally different beast. Now, Goku wasn't going to go alone or anything like that. He was taking some backup. Gohan and Piccolo were coming with him, whilst the rest of the Earthlings would be holding station on Earth in case Vegeta pulled anything funny. If it turns out to be worth it, then they can come and learn it later. With King Kai's navigation, the trio make their way to Yardrat, and after a couple of weeks, are greeted by Pibara. For the next several months, the 3 of them meditate and focus their energies. Now, Goku is able to do this in the 5 months as stated in the manga, and Gohan isn't that far behind, but one person excels at this, and it's Piccolo. In just 1 month, Piccolo has completed his portion of meditation, and Pibara is amazed.
My child, how are you able to concentrate so well? Piccolo looks a little abashed by this. Meditation is sort of my principal means of training. It just comes naturally to me. Well, it stood you in good stead. Now, come. As your friends continue their meditation, let's get on with the next phase of your training.
And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what do you guys think? Is Piccolo going to get a real power boost from this and outclass the Saiyans? What will Broly's inclusion in Vegeta's crew do to the overall picture? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. And I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!